be creating the routes of the flights across the world. So the database that we are using, it's from the openflights.org, so it's the free data available. It contains all the information of all the airports across the world. It contains all the information for the airline and all the routes and that are there. So the two data sets we will be using for this. So the first one is the airports data and the second one will be the routes data. So in the airport data, what fields we have is airport ID and the name of the airport and the city that the main city served by the airport. So we have the country or territory that where the airport is located. We have 3-letter IATA code, we have ICAO code, latitude, longitude of the airport, and how high is the airport altitude. We have its time zone, its daylight savings time. So that's we have TZ, database time zone, and type of the airport, and the source of this, like our airport's data source. So we can simply download it out to use it because it's directly linked to its GitHub repository. If I can simply click on download, we'll download it as .csv. So that will be downloaded. So this is the first data source that we'll be using, and airline we don't be needing for this one. The next data source is the routes data, route database. So in this one, we'll save link as, we'll download this one also as .csv. So we have both the data source. Now if you see, so now if you see, this data source don't have any headers. So now we will add the headers into it. Where we can do it, we'll add it from here. Add the headers. Let me extract the headers for these columns. We'll copy paste directly. We have the headers, we'll paste them here. Now if you save it, .csv. So this one, now we'll add the headers for the routes. So in this one, what information we have? So that the flights in between AER to KZN airports, and the flight name is, the airline name is 2B, and this 0 represents is a non-stop flight. It's like there is no stop in between, and the CR2 is the plane type. These all information we have in here. We'll add the headers. Now if you open this, we have the headers in this one. We have the headers in this one too. Now we'll move on to Tableau and create a visualization. First we will connect to routes data. Okay, so now if you see, so we have 2 points in each of the records. So one is the source airport and second is the destination airport. So to plot a line between source airport and destination airport, we will be needing two different data points for each of the rows. So what we will do to create two different data points for each of the row, that one will be used as to create the point for the source airport, and another one will be used to create the point for the destination airport. So we will like union it by itself. So that will give us 2 points for each of the row. So here we have the table name column, that is the routes, and another table will be routes 1. So now what we will do to recognize that from which table that point is coming, we'll create a path field. So that will guide the path from the source airport point to the destination airport point. Path field. If the last point of our table name is 1, then we will assign it as 2, because if it's 1, then it's coming from the second table, and then we will be using the destination airport point for that. And if it's not, we will assign it 1. Yeah, so we created that. Okay, so now what we will do, now to split out these points, like for the source airport and for the destination airport, what we will do, we will create a field that okay, wait, let me do this one. Okay, so now in this one, the next thing that we need is the location of these airports. So we need the location of source airport and we need the location of destination airport. For that, we will be using our airport CSV, because the airport CSV is having that data. Okay, so we have this one. We'll create a join between these two. So join for the join, we will use a calculation. So that calculation will be something like this. So what we need for the first row of the data, so we will be extracting the source airport ID from that, and from the second row of the same data, we will be extracting the destination airport ID. So we'll be getting 2 points from the two records. So if it's coming from second table, then we will use destination airport ID, and if it's not coming from second table, we will use source airport ID. Okay, so this is the calculation we will be using, and from the airport CSV, we will directly join it to airport ID. So this will give us 2 points. We'll use the inner join. Let's move on to the visualization. Okay, so now we'll plot latitude and longitude of this. Okay, so now if we pull this, if you see, we have these all airports across the world. But in this one, what we are having, like we are having 1 point for each of the airports. Now what we want to create a path between the routes. So we will have source airport and destination airport. Like, so this one will give us 2 points for each of the airports. Now if we change it to line, okay, so now this one is like giving us paths between the two airports. We'll give it path according to the path field that we created, 1 or 2. So we'll change it to dimensions. We'll bring it here. We'll do some formatting to make it look better. So now if you see, these are all the flight connections that we have across the world. So now what if the one useful case for this is airline, we can add a filter for airline. And if they want to see, like, for any one airline, routes of all the routes for any one airline, we will see for Lufthansa. So if we want to see all the routes of the Lufthansa, so here we can see all the routes, the Lufthansa airline. Any doubts in this one?
There are the destination and source, like, are they the exact same or airports?
Destination and source, no, they are not same airports. So like if you see, yeah, in this one, routes data, so we have one is the source airport and one is the destination airport. So why I unioned it by itself, so that from one row we can pick up the source airport data, and from the second row we can have the destination from, because in this one we can have only 1 point from one data. So from this row, either we can have a point on source airport or on destination airport. So that's why I created 2 points. So from one we will be taking the source airport data, and from the other point that is coming from the union, we'll be taking the destination airport data.
Okay. So can you filter down to one source and one destination airport?
Yes, we can. I guess. Let me check. Source airport, okay. Down.
I think you have to deselect.
Okay, yeah. Lufthansa is not having.
Destination also, like, try putting.
Okay, yeah. So you can filter down to one source airport. So that will be giving you all the paths from that airport on. So if you see, this one is like not very clear line, but
because of the opacity, right?
Yeah, right. But the path is there, like if you can see in the tooltip.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, so we'll move on to other trick. Connect to superstore data. Okay, so next trick we'll see on how to allow users to whether to zoom in on the axis. So how user can zoom in on the axis. So we'll create a base for this. We'll see where is order date. Right. Right. So if if we want to give the function to zoom in or not on the axis to the user, how we can create that? First we will create a parameter. Two values. Very complicated values. Yes and no. Okay. So now what we will do, we will create a calculated field. Zoom is equal to no, then we will have 0, otherwise we will okay, we have this calculated field. Okay, now we will go to analytics pane. We will add a reference line. We'll make it work. We'll make it none. Make it none. We will make this one also none. Recalculation will not allow. Okay. Now if you see, go to this one, parameter. Wait. We got to edit for pane. Let's see. It's not working.
Maybe we got to alter a bit in the formula, which is considering no, then only 0. I don't know whether if you say yes, what value is it taking for zoom value calculation.
Right, but no, it will take accordingly if it's yes. I think it's here somewhere. We got to edit. be line will break null. Close this off. Why it's not working? Remove the reference lines. Right. Where is it showing?
If we turn on the line, let's see where the line is.
Right. It's not here. Check it.
Turn on the fill above option. We will say if it's at above or below. Just keep some random color. Okay, so that could be basic.
I think that particular calculation is having null. Could be because as we selected zoom as yes, right? But we didn't specify what value it should take when it is yes.
Right, but
Okay. So, Jairaj, can you just
Now we changed it to no, and we can see this zero. Yeah, that's the right. Now when we change it to yes, I think it's null, I believe. Not sure though.
right. If okay, no, from here it will be like.
Can you open the calculation once, Jairaj? Let's just see that.
Right.
Okay, what are we trying to achieve here, Jairaj?
Like if they click on yes on the zoom, so that axis will be like this, not include 0 in the zoomed in. Why this one is also not working?
Then there's a reference line at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
Now
Yeah,
I think
so-
now it will work. Now if we change it to yes, as it is null, it will just zoom in.
Yeah, now it's working. Okay, so yeah, we got to remove that include 0. Okay, so now if we click on the zoom yes, so it will zoom in on the axis, and if we click on no, so it will simply be the normal axis with a 0 included.
Okay.
That is what it is. Do we have time?
Jairaj, just try this thing. Try to point your mouse on the axis or chart and try to scroll in up and down on mouse. What happens? Nothing happening, right? Scroll. Okay. Press Control and scroll. Maybe up and down. No, don't drag the mouse. The wheel button. Okay.
Wheel button.
That's what this is. Okay. This is
Like zoom in
not
that
giving-
point also.
yeah. Okay, understood. Maybe can you try doing that on axis on the axis header, maybe y-axis? See if anything changes. I don't know.
No, nothing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, understood. Got it. Yeah. Nice trick there. Okay, understood.
Okay. So now if we have time, we'll see another one trick quickly. So we'll see how to create bar over bar. We will have here when okay, so we will use profit and sales. Profit, we'll use sales. Okay, so this is a dual axis chart that so what if we want to use the bar over bar of profit and sales, both of them? So enable this, we will do what we'll do. We will turn off the stack points. Okay. Now we will pull measure names on the size cell. Right. We will pull measure names on the color cell. Yep. If you can increase or decrease the size. So this is how we can see the reference of anything, like if it's 2015 or 14 sales, we want to see the reference that how much is the increase or what's the endpoint for these and this one. So we can see this one as a bar over bar in this. Okay. So yeah, that's all. These are the 3 points that I have for today.
Okay, I think the stack option is the key. Is it here?
Yes, right. You need to turn, otherwise if you turned it on, so what it will do, yeah, it will start the the other measure from the end point of the first measure.
Okay.
So it will be a stacked chart. If you turn it off, then only we can see bar over bar. So we can see starting them from the same point and see the end point reference.